It's NTT IndyCar race weekend, and of course you know what that means. When they race, we race here first. So it's time for some top split action in the 2024 IndyCar iRacing Series. Hello again, everyone. I'm Gary Gotts. Welcome to Race First coverage, sponsored by 4D Racewear of Round 7 of the 2024 Championship today, as we come to you from the best street course in all of Detroit, Belle Isle, because the other one's really not that good. Before we jump into introducing the guys in the booth, we do have Justin Petschauer here, who's going to be our man on pit road, who's been doing some laps. And tell us, so far, you're going to be in another split, but what do you think, reconnaissance-wise, should we expect out there before we line up in here and go race? We've got about 5 minutes and 20 seconds left to play here in quals.
Chaos. Chaos, chaos, chaos. Turn 1 and 2, as is tradition for lap 1, for the lap 1 chaos. You also want to consider the other part of the chaos factor. That will be the final 2 turns, where it's a blind, very quick right-hander, as well as a number of other spots as well. But the primary spots, the trouble zones, will be turns 1 and 2 on the first lap, as well as the back half before you come onto the pit straight here. It's gonna be fun. It's bumpy, but not as bumpy as the Chicago street circuit where we were almost 2 years ago.
Oof.
But it's still bumpy. You will feel it, especially for a 70-lap race.
It's gonna be a long one. Well, should we allow you to get on your way to start lining up for your split?
Yep, I might as well.
All right, best of luck, sir. And we'll catch you after the race.
Sounds good.
And with me right now in the booth, and we'll be joined a little bit later by Clindy, is Ryan Walker. Ryan, you got some intel for us on what to expect stint-wise. We already know what the conditions are out there, but what should we expect here for this race? 3-stopper possibly, or less?
Yeah, it's something I've been thinking about, and I was chatting to one of the drivers. I was asking about how many pit stops do you think will happen around here, and we were talking about it could be possibly a free stop, but don't be surprised if drivers further back in the field maybe try and go for a 2-stop and try and go with an alternate strategy, with maybe starting on a different tyre compound and trying to go as long as possible and trying to gain track position. But this Belle Isle track is really... Yeah, it's a great street track, but there's nowhere for you really to run or hide if you make a mistake. If you make a mistake, you're on a one-way trip into that wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed. As they say, there's nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide here at Detroit, although a lot of us are sad to see this circuit go. As I said, this is kind of the better of the two circuits that are going on in Detroit. The new one that they have racing along the headquarters there of GM and Ford is doesn't have as much character as this one, I would say. And I never thought I would ever say that about this place because I really was never really a fan of it. But often, as they say, often you don't realize what is gone until it's left, and then you would kind of appreciate it a little bit more. 2:45 left to play. Hildegard, Craig, Matsuda, Batenfuhr, Burrell, Stix, Rosenberg, Brito, Heineken, and Gardner. A lot of the names you see here are not some of the regulars. Some are regulars, but not all the regulars. They are currently trying to get some last-minute hot laps in here at Indianapolis. The open split will open up here for race time at 9 p.m. tonight, and we'll be here on Race First. So 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Race First, the top split of the Open Indy 500, their very first race. That'll be later tonight. 2:13 left to play, and we still got a couple of cars out there making some laps. Let's see who else we got out there. There is Anders Sandberg in that Team Watson Racing setup livery. Those things are hard to miss. They stand out from a mile away. Kind of a lot like those old Team Menard liveries from back in the day. So today's rule set, as we are watching Anders right here, 70 laps, so it's 100% length, just like the pros will face to actually Sunday in Detroit. But they're on a different course, of course. But they did 70 laps here in the past on the under the old series or old circuit. It's 2.35 miles, so we're going to do 164.5 race miles. Pit road speed limit's 40 miles per hour. We do have to change the tires. We are on a street course, so we do have the Waiuli tires that we'll be putting on the cars today instead of the old Firestone Reds. Greg Moore holds the kart record here, set in 98 with a time of 1:13.530. As you see, a lot of our guys, or at least Hildegard's faster than that. Takuma Sato has the IndyCar track record, set a time of 1:13.6732 in 2017 in those big Aero kit cars. And during 2017, that just have all sorts of extra wings and doodads on them. The career wins leaders here at Detroit are Elio Castroneves and Scott Dixon, each with 3. Michael Andretti, Emerson Fittipaldi, Will Power, Sebastian Bourdais, and Graham Rahal, each with 2. The top split today is a 44.07. Not too bad, considering the first race or the first session was a 36.84. So we've improved a little bit. Some people saw it today as an opportunity to maybe get in and beef up the strength of field, to maybe get a better opportunity to earn some points on some people that normally would be racing, but not racing today. Before we line up, and we are getting ready to do that right now, I do want to bring up the points situation. As I want to hide the map there. There we go. Here are the points. Phil Kraus, as your leader, is not in the lineup today, qualifying for Indy, but Kevin Burrell is in the lineup. He is second in the standings. Pascal Stix is also in today's lineup. He is third in the standings. We got Matsuda, Batenfuhr, Alex Vanessant, Rosenberg, Hildegard, Weiser, and Newman, your top 10. Marquez, Malechka, who is also not here. He's qualifying. Harrington, also not here, qualifying. Hasada, Brito, and Andreas Eich are your top 16. And now we're starting ready to grid up here. As
we have some conversation among the drivers, Gary. That
hey, there's Clindy.
I just landed.
Just landed. How'd you do?
Didn't beat my best time, but I ran 2 really fast laps at the beginning, so learning something for the next hour.
All right, but go ahead with your thoughts, and then we will get the starting lineup in here. Actually, you probably should get the starting lineups in here right now. So we'll bring that up.
Yeah, go ahead, take it away. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Hildegard on the pole with a 1:12.998. That is just blistering fast. Batenfuhr second. Rashad Craig third. Matsuda fourth. Burrell fifth. Pascal sixth. There's a mouthful for you. Rosenberg seventh. Brito eighth. Heineken I said Heikkinen. Heineken's the beer. Joni is the person, and he's 9th. Brody Garner. I think it's been a while since I've seen him in a lineup. He is P10, so good showing for him. We have, this is where I wish we had Antonio here, because he could say this with so much more flair than me. Oscar Solerto. Zachary Hubler, I can say that one. Thorsten Ulrich, Wall Weiser, Anders Sandberg, Michael Bott, Lucas Lodato, Ollie McGowan, Martin Fillion, Jason Green, that's your 20th position. Etienne Desclos, I hope we were saying that right. We've got to practice that in the pre-race. 21st, Sylvian Moran, 22nd, and Blake Tovey, 23rd. And also not in the lineup is Pally Bay and Olivia Hayward, Mrs. Sykman. They are 24th and 25th, and we're getting ready to go green.
Yeah, that was a great start by Hildegard off the line, and they managed to get through turn 1 as well. And yeah, hopefully everyone's sensible on lap 1 with the field being so close. But yeah, I wouldn't surprise me if some drivers have incidents.
Big lockup.
There is someone's, yeah, absolutely. Someone's.
Oh! Anders Sandberg was in that one.
Oh, and he's respun again.
Alan Berteau.
Green got damaged as well.
And just piling up, and looks like someone got in the back of Sandberg. Sandberg gets to the side of Berteau. One of the geodesic cars sneaks on by. Another car down low, but I think it might have been involved. Kind of sneaks on by. Cars up high. I tell you what, where that happened is about the widest part of the racetrack where cars could escape. So unfortunately, a couple drivers or at least are starting off not as well as they would liked. I believe Anders Sandberg, as he is spun a little further down. He went for the toe. The 19 of Martin Fillion's having a hard time. He is back underway.
Well, and this is exactly the point I was going to make before we did grid, Gary, is that if you get off sequence early or have a mishap, you might just go into conservation mode and try to shave a stop. It could be a 2-stop or 3-stop strategy, so if you're not contending with traffic and you don't think you're going to beat people on pace, you might beat them in the pits.
And let's take a look here at what we got for best battles on the racetrack at the moment. Everyone's kind of separated. Let's go take this battle for Burrell and Sticks back here for 5th and 6th. This is one of your closest ones right here. Sticks, Burrell, Rosenborough, Heikkinen. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, that's how I would normally say it, as a Heikkinen.
Okay.
Hiking.
But I think no doubt some of the Finnish fan base will probably be watching and will correct us if we're butchering it.
Like I said, I am the butcher of names. Just give me a moment and we will do it. And there was a Hildegard, now Botenfer with the purple lap, as we now have a pop-up on our screen that actually tells you when the purple lap is set, on top of when you see the driver's number in the tree to the left turn purple. And I'll tell you who's currently holding the purple lap. So right now, Betafuhrer is holding that purple lap. He is second to Hildegard. They're right there in that geodesic entry. He's teammates with Brandon Rosenborough in the second geodesic entry. Both those guys ranked pretty high in this race, 2nd and 4th. There is Heikkinen right there, P6, kind of in the plain white and red wrapper. I'd say being the 6th ranked car, he might be worthy of some sponsorship. Right behind him is Thorsten Ulrich in that a Red Bull Visa livery. But we can maybe set him up with an IndyCar livery, can't we?
Yeah, I would say. I would definitely go along with that. Try and get him sponsored by Target or something.
When did Target leave IndyCar, Gary? Was it 2016? Same time they left NASCAR?
Let's see. 2020. 2012. Dario won. He had it on the car still. What year was it that? Okay. So we got a pop out now with Hubler on push the pass button now. So that's a new pop-up now. He has 8 pushes of the button left. These are things my dev's been working on.
He's all over Gardner. Sorry, he just rear-ended him. Gardner's working with one half of a front wing, so Hubler is really in dire attention here to get around. 3
geodesic cars in the lineup. The 2nd, 4th, and 7th one. What 500 was it? 2017? Might have been the last year with the DW12s that Dixon went end over end and split his car in half. He was in the NTT car. So that was, I believe, one of the years they were out of it. Might have been 2016 they were still in Target livery, possibly?
Yeah, I think it was after 2016 that Target finished their sponsorship of CGR.
Yeah. Hildegard getting that lap back. He's now back to purple, but we're watching this battle right now for 11th between Gardner and Hubler.
Yeah, Hubler's going easier in to try to get a better exit, but honestly, I think Gardner is going to have better straightaway speed, missing half a front wing down the back long straight here.
Right, and let's bring up the track map so people can get a better understanding of where they are on the racetrack. They're actually entering that straight right now.
Yeah,
Hubler on push to pass. And he pulls it off.
I'd expect Gardner's going to fall back very quickly now, dealing both with dirty air and that wing is not a winning combination.
The one-wing angel right now. So we bring out the old handy-dandy Microsoft calculator right here, and we go 70 divided by 3, and that would be 3 stints. That means 2 stops. That'll be 23 laps for a stint. 23. This is a little over 23 laps for a stint. 23.3 repeating. So then if we look at 70 divided by 4, that would be your 3-stopper, and that is at 17.5. So the first of the windows, depending on what everyone's going to do, a 2-stopper or a 3-stopper is going to open up in about 10 laps from now.
Yeah, that's a question as well regarding the pit stops. If you're stuck in a park, especially around a track such as Detroit, where passing opportunities are pretty much saying you can't really pass around here. Is it worth pitting early and trying to maybe get an undercut and trying to maybe jump some people?
Ooh! Kevin Morrell lighting them up on corner exit there of 11 and 12, 13. Down the front straight, this little kink right here is 14. Then we hit the main straight, or I use it loosely, quote-unquote main straight. Now we're into 1. 2 is what I like to call Corvette corner, if you remember what that is referring to. I hear a chuckle.
Take the nannies off.
Yeah, I think I know what you're on about when the pace car driver crashed into the wall.
Yep, Corvette corner.
Yep.
Wait, do you know who that was, Ryan? Do you know who it was?
Was that Robert Wickens?
Mm-mm.
No, it was not a driver. It was a GM
not
executive.
a driver.
It was one of the GM execs, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought it was Robert Wickens. So yeah, sorry, Robert. I'll probably go to him. My bad.
And watching this battle for 6th with Stix and Burrell. These are the tongue twisters today.
And a lot on the wall.
Yeah, a lot of fishtailing here. A lot of these teams going to be going to Indianapolis here very shortly after this. I don't know. I don't remember seeing a lot of. I don't think I see any of the core drivers' names on the qualification list. I could be wrong. I don't think I saw. I saw some of the geodesic guys. Saw a lot of the IAR guys. We know that I5G is going to show up. We know private label Team Hype's going to show up. We know Power Slide's going to show up. Except for Adam Blocker, because, you know, a man has the work.
I mean, he could have been sick.
Well, there's some news for the week. Yukos Hollinger picks up a sponsor, Old Milwaukee.
The beer?
Yes, they picked that up as a corporate sponsor. I believe they have a non-alcoholic beer. Pascal Stix has disappeared, and I think he just dropped out.
Yeah,
Yes, he is falling down through the order. I think Stix has faded out here, unfortunately, and that is a big shame because we are not even a seventh of the way into this race, and he is having ping issues, and he might be done. Yeah, he continues to fall. I think he's done. So a free position for Burrell, not the way he really wanted to get it. And he'll be moving up to try to run down his country mate, Heio Matsuda. Of course, Kevin's relocated to Japan for his job. That's where he lives now. And that's where Matsuda's from, of course. And they have met there in Japan. Always good to meet when you get a chance to meet your fellow iRacer.
Yep, and I believe that Kevin's located or living in Tokyo, I believe.
Yeah. Etienne Disclos, I believe, is on Push to Pass, or Blake Tovey might have been on Push to Pass trying to get around them. That was a battle for 16th and 17th. There we go.
I think Stix is back, Gary.
He is, and he just loads right back into where he was in 5th spot.
I was just watching Burrell, and he slightly clipped the wall again, heading on just before heading onto the start, basically the start finish kink, if you like. He just clipped the wall ever so slightly, but managed to get away with it.
Well, we'll ride with Kevin Burrell going down the stretch to turn 4. Or this could be 3. This is turn 3. Turn 3. Here's turn 4 right here.
Why I don't do anything more than ovals, Gary? I can't count.
Can't count more than 4 or 3 when you're at Pocono.
Well, the Pocono's a relief. I get to count one less corner every time.
Right.
Desclos and McCown are going at it here into the first hard braking section, but McCown gets by easily on the outside, and he sets his sights on Blake Tovey. I think it won't be long until he gets there. He's been much faster the past few laps.
So let's, besides Pocono, we think here, what other tracks at IndyCar has been on that have been ovals but have less than 4 turns?
Chicagoland has one.
It's just one big. That's true. There actually was a. I forget which track it was, but there was just one big round oval. It was a perfect circle.
Oh.
I have to go back and look that one up, which track that was, but that's true. I believe if we
IndyCar's ever... Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Did they ever go to... Was it Nazareth? That had... It was like a tiny Pocono, or was that...
Yeah, they went to
New
Nazareth.
Smyrna?
They went to Nazareth, and Nazareth was closer to more of a... At least when I related to it, when I drove it in the old IndyCar Racing 2 sim, I kind of equated it more to a Phoenix. I think it's a little bit shorter, tighter version of Phoenix, but I equated it more to a Phoenix because it had a weird dog leg there and a very short, very, very short straightaway. In fact, not a lot of straightaways on that track at all, really, if you think about it. But So San Air in Canada, that was a triangle track they raced at. That was the first sub 1 mile track they ever raced at, in at least since the AAA days. And then I think Disney World, I think, was only 3 turns.
Yeah, I was going to say Disney World, I think it was only 3 corners from what I remember. But
Yeah.
I would need to go back and watch the video to be 100% sure. But yeah, I know everyone was not really a fan of that track from what I heard, but from the videos I've watched, it always seemed to produce great racing.
So I know it on good authority from a driver that won an IndyCar race that when he raced at Disney World, it scared the crap out of him. On good authority. I won't say who, but that the angles off of turn 3 hitting that wall on the main straight there, that caused a lot of issues for a lot of drivers. Not just we're talking about career-ending issues. Let's go through the field here as we're now lap 12 of 70. As we got Hilgard is starting to really pull away by 2.4 seconds over JB. JB's in second, just 3 seconds over Rashad Craig, who will probably be in one of the oval races coming up here later this evening. So he's got some double duty he'll be doing. Heiao Matsuda is in 4th. Styx has magically reappeared and has recovered his 5th spot. He is still being chased down by Kevin Burrell. Brandon Roseborough in the other geodesic entry. He is P7th. Thorsten Ulrich there in the Red Bull. He is 8th. Yanni, very good start for them. They have held station, started 9th and currently are 9th. And Hubler up 2 spots to 10th. Your biggest gainer of the race right now. Let's go back to Blake Tovey back in 16th. He is up 7 spots. And Thorsten Ulrich there in the Red Bull. He is up 5 spots. We have 3 drivers that have retired already. Anders Sandberg, Alan Berteau, and Martin Fillion. I believe that all had to do right there at that turn 3, turn 4 incident. But since then, everyone's been racing.
Gary, does your graphic show whether they're on the Waiuli or the primary?
Yes, and actually, our overlay will be able to give us that information. So currently, right now, all 3 of the leaders are on the Waiuli. And let's get a good shot at Christian's car. Right there you see, he is on the Waiuli tires. And JB, Craig, Roseborough, Yanni and Hubler are also on the Waiuli tire. That's, as you see, by the alternate by next to their name.
I'm excited to see if Hayato Masuda can make up time here on the primary as we get later into this run. We're probably at the point where some people will start to pit, and usually that's when you make up chunks and chunks of time on the primary tire. It does look like he's reeling in Rashad Craig, I believe.
And we got Thurston Ulrich there in the Red Bull. He is running down Brandon Roseborough. Ooh.
And the wall!
Yeah, Thurston give a little kiss there to the wall.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm sure I heard a slight crunch against the wall there.
It is not Valentine's Day. You don't want to give too many of those free kisses out.
Yeah, that's the thing with this Detroit track as well. It's if you want to extract the most, basically extract the lap time or be really quick around here, you've got to be on the limit. But sometimes if you do that and kiss the wall, sometimes it can kind of backfire on you. But yeah, at the moment, Rosenbrough under attack or under pressure from Ulrich, and coming up to just about coming up to the first set of pit stops. I wonder if anyone further back will maybe dive in early and just try and get some clear air.
And there's plenty of open spots on the track. There's Cars pretty well spread out. Today's coverage brought to you by 4D Racewear. Check out their made-for-sim racing line of gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on their link in today's description. If you enjoy Race First coverage of the IndyCar iRacing Series and respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us best by subscribing. You can support us the least by just smashing like. We'd appreciate it as well. But if you do subscribe, click the bell so you don't miss out on future iRacing broadcasts, including later tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. Open Indy 500 top split right here on Race First. All the stars and cars from the Open Series that you normally see, they will be in the lineup trying to get the win for the first time in 2 years at Indianapolis here on the service.
The dark times are over. The Indy 500 is back.
Yeah, as soon as I heard that IndyCar and the 500 was coming back to, or basically, being ran again on iRacing, I was so happy. It was like Christmas came early.
Right. Rashad Craig is one of those early pitters, pitted in lap 16, got off the Waiuli tires. He's on to the primes, and he is now setting sights here. Back in 12th spot, so we'll see how many spots he recovers when everyone pits in front of him. But he is the first of those to hit pit road. Sylvian Moraine is now also on pit road, but I believe Sylvian is might have ran into some incident. Yeah, extended pit time for Sylvian there. So I was doing a little reminiscing.
Ulrich.
Go ahead. We'll do Ulrich. Let's go back to Ulrich here.
Yeah, Ulrich is all over Roseboro.
Oh, yes, he is.
Over him. Been on him for like a lap and a half.
Let's ride with him.
Those Waiulis in front are hot and worn out. Ulrich is on the primaries, looking to take advantage here, maybe get a spot before pit stops. Did not send it. Come on, Ulrich. Put it in there.
A lot of counter steering, a lot of wheel spin here for Ulrich.
Yeah,
a lot of wheel spin there for Roseboro coming out of the corner. He went a little sideways.
Yeah, I wonder if some. Go ahead.
No, you got it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I wonder if some drivers are starting to struggle with tyres, maybe starting to drop off slightly. And yeah, these drivers have got in-car adjustments that they can use as well. They've got the anti-roll bars that they can use if they're starting to struggle with stuff like traction on corner exit, or just struggling with oversteer or understeer.
I think the foot is way more impactful than any of those bars are, though. And
yeah,
these guys want it bad. Ulrich is there. He is there.
Yeah, Ulrich's starting to basically move around, showing his nose and showing that he's behind and trying to intimidate Rosenberg. So, yeah, I wonder if I'm forced, then it's maybe worth putting early and trying to jump Brandon.
It's a battle for sixth. Yeah, go ahead, guys. Continue.
Yeah, you need to stay on these primaries as long as possible, and I think you can't sacrifice a primary stint by undercutting. I think the undercut is open to only those who are on the Waiulis.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was going to say as well, but on the other hand, if you do put early and you're running the primary tyres, you're kind of, I guess in a way, you're kind of compromising your strategy and your plan, because if you come out behind the traffic, for example, you're kind of just going to lose too much time, and it's just around this track. It's such around this track. There's not many passing opportunities.
And I really think that this group right here has started to run down Burrell, Pascal, and Matsuda. Ilgard off now. It's 3-second lead over JB. JB is second here. He's clear by 8 seconds over Matsuda. But the battle really begins at Masuda. Masuda, Sticks, Burrell, Rosenborough, Ulrich are all going to be in the same shot here very, very shortly. And there they are right there. So anyways, I was getting ready to say, I was looking at Moraine's car. I believe I was doing some reminiscing the other day of my my one and only fixed Indy 500 that I did. Started 5th, finished 4th. But the story there is I started from the pits because I didn't trust anybody around me. And good thing, too, because once we took the green flag, the guy that started next to me instantly crashed coming to turn 1. So that would have taken me out right away. So I went ahead and it took out 3 cars, and I went ahead and started from pit road and then immediately picked up 3 positions. But anyways, I believe Sylvian was in my split, and I believe Sylvian won my split. I finished 4th, and I did some leading there, but I do remember, I think they were in my split. And that was a couple years ago, so obviously they've come a long way with the iRating, of course.
Yeah, you talk about starting from the pits as well for the 500. I done that in the major series in the 500 a couple of weeks ago, just because, like yourself, I didn't trust anyone on the grid because, yeah, you know what some people are like. They'll try and go full send on lap 1, and yeah, it's never a good thing, especially in a 500-mile race. But yeah, it was a good thing I done that because, like yourself, I managed to gain some positions just through people having issues or basically through cautions and using strategy, and yeah, it paid off in the end with finishing 3rd. But some people say, oh, if you start from the pits, you're not brave enough, but it's not. Honestly, it's not always a bad thing.
Well, to finish first you must finish, and I don't care how brave you are or not. If I can't finish, then I have no opportunity to finish first. And actually right there at the end of that race, if I go back and remember, I was with about 2 laps to go, I was underneath 3rd spot. I had a shot, but it was so hot, and I think we're getting similar. Sticks disappears again, yeah, but I think we're going to have similar conditions again this year. That once your tires are pretty worn out, once you get underneath someone, Hilgard almost smacks the wall, and you're racing side by side in the corners. If you start to wash up, you're going to turn it into a 2-car incident if you don't pay attention.
Yep. And that's the thing as well with basically starting in the pits. Starting in the pits, like I've always done for the 500, is basically just I've always went into it with just do my own thing, and whatever happens. If I end up getting taken out or caught up in an incident, it's one of those things.
Now it might be more beneficial.
Oh,
or give you
Sticks!
strategic options.
That is Sticks. He reappears. And he spun around.
Yeah, I was about to say, Sticks just
and that's it. And that is a toe. And I think he just disconnected there.
I think iRacing thought he was on the surface, and Matsuda and Burrell were right near him. They raced where his car was, but did not appear. I bet you Sticks got punted by a driver who could not see him.
That is one of the dangers of lagging out like that.
Yeah, because I've noticed that in some endurance racing events that some cars will disconnect, but basically they'll reappear right in front of someone and they get punted just because it's one of those things you don't know where someone is, and basically all of a sudden they'll just appear right in front of you, and it's just there's nothing you can do. It's just it's like we like to call it technical issues.
A mechanical, as sometimes it's called. So unfortunately that eliminates Sticks from today's competition. 19 cars still running, 25 started. Not a bad split here, despite the lack of participation that we've seen in other races. Like we said, a lot of people are qualifying right now for Open and Indy. I believe it's every hour on the half hour, or every
Open
half hour.
On the half hour.
Yeah.
Fixed. No, it's every hour. Open is on the half hour. Fixed is on the hour. And you've got 2.5 hours left to go until 7 p.m. Eastern time if you're looking to get a time in.
When the fields become locked. And if you're not familiar with how they do the fixed Indy 5 and the Open Indy 500 here for qualifying, it is a 4-lap average. As we're watching Ulrich just getting all loosey-goosey, he might want to hit pit road and throw some new tires on. We are at the 2-stop window, folks. We are right at that 23-lap mark. Let's see if there's anybody else that stopped. Yanni, he has, or Yoni, I don't know, but it's he'll have to tell us how to say his name. Again, we apologize. Heikkinen, he is P13, and he pitted on 23. Hubler on 23. Burrell on pit road right now, along with Matsuda. This is at lap 23. Hilgard on pit road. And he's coming off pit road right now. He completed a stop at 23. So they are going for the 2-stopper. Hilgard with a lot of traffic around him as he's coming down to this difficult area right here with a lot of traffic around him. Okay, makes it through. So, yeah, it is a 4-lap qualification effort, just like you see at Indianapolis. 4 laps, 10 miles, average speed. And then, why do you qualify, you say? Well, because you're not lined up. If you choose to qualify, you are not lined up based upon what your I rating is. Normally, when you go to a top split, you get split into groups based upon your I rating, and then you qualify. Well, here we're going to qualify first, and then you're actually going to be put in splits with people with a similar qualification pace as you. The only time that somebody was going to get gridded up based upon I rating are those that did not qualify but chose that still want to participate, which will be full. There will be full entire splits of those type of drivers, and they'll be lined up just purely based upon their I rating.
And they will be in splits lower than,
yes,
in air quotes,
yes,
the splits that have qualified. But they will likely have, or at least the first one will have a higher SOF. Almost undoubted. Well, probably not. Sorry, let me rephrase. The first split that has drivers that did not qualify will have a much higher SOF than the bottom qualified splits.
Yeah.
But the top splits, man, it's all over the place. You got people with 7K, you've got people with 12K. Or not 12K, 1200.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very much a situation, watching Ollie McGowan here hit pit road, very much a situation where you'll see a lot of veterans out there, and then a lot of those people with the lower rating kind of got their rookie stripes going on. And you're going to encounter it. It's about the only time, only special event that I can really think of that someone with a low I rating can compete directly against someone with a pro, as high as a pro high rating or a pro license. All right, so let's reset the field here real quick. Everybody has made their stops. Your leader by about 2 seconds, as JB has eaten into Hilgard's lead a little bit, is by now, or is right at 2 seconds. They are 10 seconds ahead of Burrell, who has moved his way up to third. Rosenborough is fourth. Rashad Craig is fifth. Zach Hubler is sixth. Thorsten Ulrich is seventh, and they see them all right together there on that straight leading up to the main straight. Heikkinen is eighth. Matsuda is in a battle with Oscar Solerdo. There we go, Soltero. This is why I wish Antonio was here, because he would say it, and he would say it with so much flair. It would just sound like, super fancy.
I mean, I can give it a shot. I spoke French for like 8 years, and I know a little bit of Spanish. So, if you don't mind, I will.
Right ahead. Oscar?
Soltero.
All right, there you go.
And I don't know. It's always so hard to know if you roll an R or not. Like, in Spanish, for example, the word but, like the interjection, like I went to the store, but they had no milk.
Yeah.
And the word dog are both P-E-R-O, perro.
Perro.
Then, like, perro is a dog and perro is but. And they're spelled the same. How am I supposed to know? I don't know.
Like I told my German friends, they got 4 ways of saying the word the. I don't get it.
French does that too. Yeah, language didn't happen I mean, it wasn't planned, right?
If you're just joining us, this is Race First coverage sponsored by 40 Racewear of round 7 of 16. So we got about a halfway to go here for this season. The special Fridays top split sponsored by 40 Racewear. The IndyCar iRacing Series coming to you from the road course here on Belle Isle. We've completed 27 of 70 laps. The first stint for a lot of these cars is done. If you're enjoying Race First coverage of tonight's race and would like to monetarily support our commentary team, make sure you donate via our GoFundMe link. The link is in the description. Any contribution would be greatly appreciated. We do this for free on behalf of the iRacing community, so if you have a few bucks you can donate, please send some. We would appreciate it.
We're going to have a battle here between Rashad Craig and Zachary Hubler, and Thorsten Ulrich, who's had a very busy day, is not too far behind. Because Craig's been on these tires quite a while, Hubler is on his rear wing.
So Craig's due in about 4 laps from now.
So that's the thing, if you're Hubler, right, do you sit and wait knowing that he's been out here longer, or I don't know. I don't know if Hubler has someone in his ear to tell him the lap he's pit or if he runs the right type of overlay. Because being patient here could be rewarded, but, I mean, race car driver want to go fast, right? Race car driver want fast.
Race car driver, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those situations. What do you do? Do you try and make a move and they take a bit of a risk? Try to make a move straight away, or do you wait? Or do you
on
wait
the button?
For? He's on the button. I was going to say he's got the run, so it looks like he's going to make the move. Can he get it
Craig
stopped?
gave him the line. Yeah, he's fine.
Oh, I thought he was going to run wide there.
And interesting,
side pods aren't required. You can use them up, scuff them up. We're not going fast.
And it looks like the what I had for the push to pass on the overlays is not working anymore, so I have to take that back to my dev. But that was pretty cool to see it working there. When someone was on the button, their name would light up. I do like the fact that we know when the fastest lap gets set and by whom. That's always very helpful.
I wish iRacing would give you iRating when you set the fastest lap, just like a little extra, you know. To give you a point or two.
So you would be like what Red Bull does and just pit late in the race and light tank, fresh tires, just go for the big lap?
Well, hey, man, I mean, you're going to lose a lot of spots if you do that on iRacing, so, you know, why not? It's not like Formula 1 where you build a 12-second gap every week. If you count a 12-second gap between any of these cars, they lose 2 to 3 positions minimum. Like, I think Hildegard's the only one that doesn't lose more than 1 position. Everyone else loses 2 or 6. And you can't stop in 12 seconds anyway, right? It takes a little longer than that.
Yeah, the delta on pit road's about 30 seconds. And Hubler getting around some lap traffic there.
They build these really tiny pit lanes that you only have to be at, 70 kilometers an hour at for like 10 seconds, and you pit in 3. It's just, I don't know, not intuitive strategy from American racing eyes.
Yeah, there's one thing I wish they would bring back to Formula 1 is basically, I know some people have mixed views on it, but I really wish they would bring back refueling.
Oh yeah. When the cars would start light and qualify light, like that's a whole dimension of strategy that's been removed from the drivers and the teams.
And there's one thing I used to love about Formula 1 in the mid-2000s is when they had I think it was 2003 they brought it in, between 2003 and 2005 they had the one lap qualifying.
Oh yeah, the kind of knockout qualifying single lap, yeah.
So basically if you messed up, that's it, game over. Or basically you had 2 chances, but basically if you messed up in the main qualifying, that was it. You pretty much say wherever you qualified is where you started.
So Clindy, our regional language expert, has chimed in chat. I want to check that out.
Oh, that reminds me, Gary. I need to open up the broadcast and go click like.
That's right. Like, share, subscribe. Currently watching Zach Hubler and his multicolored Dallara there. Getting chased down by Thorsten Ulrich, and it is a multicolored Dallara. Leader is Hilgard by a very comfortable now 4.5 seconds. Matsuda and Aiken, yeah, just saw it.
I need to take Spanish lessons from you.
Not me. Like I said, I know German, and that's barely palpable.
Yeah, yeah. I tried learning German when I was at school, and that went horribly wrong. I know the basics, but that's about it.
As I told my German friends, I was like, it's no wonder you guys lost. You have 4 ways of saying the word "the." Can't you just say D for everything? Or dare for everything? No, you can't say D. And there's no rhyme or reason to them. They'll tell you, oh, it's really easy to understand. No, it's not easy to understand.
There's one thing that's always confused me when it comes to cars and they pronouncing the names is basically, in Europe, or basically Europe, or like English-speaking people always say BMW, but in Germany they say BMW. I'm like,
BMW, yeah, BMW, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I remember having a conversation with a German about it. I'm like, why, if it's BMW, why have you not got a V at the end instead of like a W? I'm like, yeah, that was a long argument.
Well, it's also a long history lesson. So the V was originally 2 V's, because in Roman script, that would all they would print. They'd print 2 V's back to back. Also, V was the letter U. So English said, oh, a U is 2 U's makes a W, versus French, and French also says double V instead of double U, because it's 2 V's. So the languages kind of decided whether it was 2 V's or 2 W's, and decided to pronounce them differently. Additionally, so we speak one language, right? English. Yeah. Canadians and some of you in UK and Ireland call the last letter of the alphabet Z, when in fact it is Z. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, I don't think we have any room to dunk on German for doing a letter differently when we can't even figure out what it is ourselves.
I wasn't dunking on them. It was just more confusing than anything.
Today's broadcast brought to you by the letter A.
Yeah, welcome
the
to the
Sesame Street of Belle Isle.
Right.
Welcome to the Race Fair School, everyone.
And the number 13. Speaking of the number 13, Will Weiser is running down Oscar here. This is a battle for 10th.
Yeah, it might be Friday afternoon, but school's not out yet.
Yeah, someone mentioned in the chat, was it language lessons courtesy of Race Fairs.
I mean, I went to college for a degree in the English language, so unfortunately, sometimes that just spills into everything I do.
You can't. Gary kann nicht Deutsch sprechen. Nein, ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen. Just ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen. But über alles kann nicht.
Oh dear. The only
But there's only 2 words you need to say when you go to Germany if you really want to get everyone's attention. Michael Schumacher. That's
That's true. Just don't say Damon Hill.
Now he is so famous in Germany. He had when I went there for business a couple times, and I went to their version of Best Buy. Of course, our Best Buys now, they don't sell any CDs or anything in there. And they had a whole tribute CD to him after winning one of his championships. What's that? A CD,
like not
yes.
A DVD.
No. Yeah, it had songs. One
like
of which was song.
Oh,
there's who was that? Was that Michael
Hymns?
Bott? No, who was that? Trying to find it. Oh, it's Pally Bay. Pally Bay in that Toyota kind of looking 80s livery, leading the leaders on by very calmly there. Good run for them.
Pally's been doing it all race long.
Yeah.
He's been very courteous, pulling over for faster traffic all day long.
So there was a song, I think the only name singer was that I could remember at the time was Right Said Fred, and that's the guy that's I'm Too Sexy for My Shirt song.
Yeah.
You remember that? And he had a song called Stand Up for the Champion. So yeah, it was, yeah.
It sounds like a cheesy CD.
It was, but I bought it anyways.
No, that CD sounds like The Verst.
Oh my god. This is like one of those throwback was it basically like music things you hear on the radio, or one of those music channels, was it throwback such and such?
From K2 Records. Like Sam Fear's greatest hits.
Do you think Roseborough's ever gonna have a lap where he doesn't have a car right behind him?
Yeah,
he has been sliding through corners. I've been actually watching some of him, and he has been impressively keeping it between the concrete, staying off the concrete. But that 36 of 70, and a lot of these guys are 10 to more than 10 laps into their run. Although Rashad Craig, he is expected on pit road about any time. Rashad here in the 8th spot. He is 20 laps into his current stint. We believe he is on a modified 2-stopper, or a 3-stopper, excuse me.
Yeah, he got off those Waiulis really early.
He sure did. And I think for the most part, he has been by himself. Germans also love David Hasselhoff. That is correct. And actually, my very first Indy 500, David Hasselhoff sang the national anthem.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa. Back up. When was this?
1986. I've told you guys I'm old. Oh, okay. There we see the overlay working properly that time. Yeah, I believe it was 1986. Hasselhoff, Michael Knight sang the national anthem. So there, I tied it into IndyCar racing there. Good Leaf.
I was negative.
Wow, I know.
86.
What's that? You were negative what? You were just a glimmer in one of your parents' eyes.
Yeah, I wasn't even born then. Gee, crikey.
We'll watch Rashad Craig here a little bit to see when he decides to make the turn down pit road. Top Gun came out that year. That was a good year. Yeah, great year. Dancing on the Ceiling. Yep. That was the year that the Indy 500 was rained out the entire weekend. And so they pushed back Milwaukee a week and had to schedule the 500 for Milwaukee weekend. And the reason we got tickets is the people that were friends of ours that could not go to the race because they were only in town for just that period of time. I was like, well, here, take our tickets. You can use them. And so that's how I got to go to my first 500. Free tickets, baby. Let's see if we got other battles here on the racetrack. Here's a pretty close one. Back to Ulrich, and this kind of comes back to who's on Brandon's tail right now. And these two have not really let each other go very far.
Yeah, it's been a good race by Forster at the moment. He's been basically, he's been right up there as well. He's not been doing anything silly. He's just been kind of just quietly gaining places and having a good run at the moment.
Definitely better than I would do. I ran some laps here when we broadcast the Formula Indy Series, Gary. It took me 30 minutes to get a clean lap with no 0 X's.
This is not an easy track. I will say that. And you can even see here when they're kind of like in this carousel complex where you have a wheel lift off the road. I mean, there's a lot of negative camber areas, a lot of negative bank areas, and
it's not smooth. It is very bumpy.
No, not very. And we see Brandon coming up to Miss Excitement. Olivia Hayward.
Go ahead.
Yeah, she earned that nickname in one of the Open Series top splits that we did one time. And they pull over just nice and easy to allow the leaders on by. Very courteous.
Hey, Lewis, I see you in the chat. Thank you for being in the Air Force. Memorial Day weekend was last weekend.
Yeah.
But, thanks for your service.
Yeah, I was going to say with this track as well, it's really bumpy as well. So if you're someone's hit the wall. Is that Rosenborough? I think it was Rosenborough. But,
I think Ulrich is going to have a bit of a run. He's going to take a look to the outside, coming into the braking zone. Not going to be able to get there. I don't think Ulrich is quite ready for that mistake to happen.
Yeah, I think Ulrich's just been kind of just sitting behind and playing a patience game. But I was going back to my point as well. If you're on a direct drive wheel around this track with the bumps,
oh God.
Be prepared for your arms to be ripped off.
and some of these guys, for sure. And I know we have some of the ladies driving today, but when I say guys, it's just the field in general. Some of these drivers, they will be doing a 500-mile race as little as 4 hours from now. Oh, he's going to send it to the inside. Okay. Bouncing off the curbs. Oh, that was close. But they kept it off each other, and that's the key thing.
Yeah, that's. I thought Forston was just going to have patience, but he's actually getting. This is probably the first time in the race he's been getting feisty.
Yeah, this is your closest battle on the racetrack. Although Soltero, going back to his battle real quick, let's go take a peek back there. Oh, Roseboro. Soltero is about a second off from Weiser. And Soltero's in a bit of a plain white wrapper there a little bit. Good looking livery. I think Will's struggling right now. His car looks very loose, does not look very comfortable. Maybe he comes to pit road. Rashad Craig, 24 laps under his current stint. Actually, Hubler has come to pit road. So we do have takers to pit road. Hubler just completed his stop at lap 40. He has gone 16 laps stint on stint 2. We guys have new tires. Let's check out the tire report. There you see Waiuli, primary, Waiuli, primary, Waiuli, primary, and then at the very end there, Ikonen with the Waiuli. And how you can say Waiuli when it's spelled with the letter G at the end, I don't know. Or at the beginning.
Italy.
I don't. It's like Karen is calling me Wadso, you know. It's like. Back to the English language lesson once again. And there you see number of stops. Craig and Yanni have made their second stops. Hubler made the second stop. A couple further on down, they made second stops. All your leaders have, for the exception of 9th and 10th, all your top 10 is on the one stop so far. Oh, yeah. Delta Force. And once again, coming up, there you got it. Race First presents Open Setup Indy 500 coming up later tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Race First. Every single one of the 500 miles, every single one of the 200 laps. Can only be one winner, though. And that's later tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, top split, Open Indy 500. And then after that, we are going to be back here, back home again in Indiana on Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern for the fixed Indy 500. All right here, race first. 1,000 miles of racing yet to go this weekend.
If I crash out of any of the 8 500s I'm doing this, Gary, I'll pop up in the booth with you.
I fully expect that. I don't expect you to crash. That's the thing. I don't want to get me wrong. I expect you to jump up into the booth. But we are watching, actually, Zach Hubler with our leader just right around the neighborhood with him right there. So Christian has lapped up to Hubler's spot, at P11. But remember, he just stopped. Rashad Craig has not stopped. Yes, he has. He's 2 laps ago. He has stopped. So he went 25 on his second stint. And he's managed to stay on the lead lap, which is good news for him because Christian right behind him still needs to stop. There is Christian right there. Let's take a look at next in line, JB. There's Beta Fuhr. He is P2. Kevin Burrell, he will be participating in the 500 coming up. He is P3. Roseboro has put a little bit of breathing space between himself and Ulrich. He is P4. He's been there for better part of this entire race, really. He's held on strong. He's up 3 spots. Ulrich up 8. I believe Roseboro is qualified for a 500. He will be in the race. Don't know if Ulrich will or not. Maybe he might be one of those lower splits. I've only really seen people pay attention to the top split speeds. It's like if you're 34th, you might as well just be, last.
Yeah.
No one cares about 34th fastest.
Yeah, I was doing some qualifying runs during the weekend. Basically, I was looking at the times of the quick guys, and I'm thinking, how on earth can they do that? I mean,
especially the fixed setup one.
Yeah, I was looking back at my my 4-lap average, and then basically I looked at what basically their their average speed or quickest times as well, and I'm like, there's no way I can do that. So it's basically I've just went into it with basically a casual attitude. It's basically whatever happens. If I get put in a lower split, then so be it.
To give the audience some context, I'm generally pretty good on ovals, and I'm pretty good generally in fixed, and I'm a pretty poor qualifier. I am literally 1/10 of a second slower than the pole sitter. The pole sitter is ranked number 1. I am ranked number 168. 1/10 of a second is 167 spots.
Yeah, right now, on the pole for the fixed 500 is the Iceman, Hamilton Akabuizi. He is currently on the pole there for I5G. I5G is liking that pickup. Michele Costantini, we saw him here on the top split broadcast for the fixed, or the, it was the fixed series at the time. Now it's the oval series. Last race at Michigan. And actually, he got edged out at the line by our own Mark Murphy in that particular race. But Constantini is P2. Phil Kraus, the professor, is P3. Peter Berryman, not sure who he is. I've kind of done a little bit of background check on him, so he's someone very familiar with the R18, though. Just probably not seen him in any of our broadcasts. He is P4. P5 is Michael, and I don't know how to say their last name, but again, we are the butchers of last names. Romandis. He is currently P5. Franzoni, Malechka, McNown, Baiko, Prada, Pinero make up your top 11. Trost is 12th. Other names, Olsen, Oster, Brophy, 14th, 15th, 16th. And that's kind of your fixed guys.
Yeah, you were talking about Constantini and Berryman, what teams they're part of. Both of those drivers are part of the Apex Racing team.
Okay. That'll do it. That will do it. Currently still waiting for our leader to make that next pit stop. He goes now to lap 23. Beta Fuhr, he is 22 laps now under this current stint. Burrell is 22 laps. Coming to pit road right now, Kevin Burrell. And we'll watch the IAR crew at work here as he hits his stall. Watch how he places his car just on the side. Ooh, almost slid through. He did slide through. And he slid through badly. Oh, my goodness.
So he'll lose about probably 3 or 4 seconds. Or even more, possibly.
Yeah, he just has to be careful not to compound this error into another error.
Yeah.
If, like, he is on the throttle to try to make up time and spins the tires out of his box, or on cold tires out of the pits. Just got to be very careful not to compound your mistake.
Yeah, he's through.
You're
We
on
don't
the
want to
back
rename.
foot,
We don't want to rename
fault.
Corvette corner Kevin corner there. So nice and easy. He's back underway. He is on, I believe, the Waiulis. So let's go back to leader pit road. So this might turn the lead for a lap over to JB. Joe JB on pit road. And Roseboro not on pit road. So we might see Roseboro pick up the lead by default here. So your 2 leaders coming to pit road. Scheduled stops here at lap 47. This should get them mostly to the end. I don't know if that's all the way to the end, but mostly there. And Hilgard down and away. 9.2 in the box, 29.2 on the road. JB away as well. 30.4 in the box, 9.4 in, or excuse me, 30.4 in the on the road, 9.4 in the box.
Are we going to see a Grand Slam today, Gary? Did Hildegard lead every lap so far? Or did he lose it during the cycle at any time?
I think he's led every single lap.
Sorry, it's Hildegard. There's no
Hildegard.
E there. It's not
Right,
Hildegard.
yeah. Hilgard, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't. I want to get lumped in with you, Gary. I want to try to get last names right most of the time.
yeah, I was going to say, when I first started speaking to Kristen, I always called him Hildegard, and then basically he's like, oh, it's Hildegard.
Hilgard, yeah.
I'm like, oh, sorry.
Well, I have J.R. Hildebrandt ingrained in on me, so I just when I see it, it's just, it's Hilga. But no, you're right. It is Hilgard, Hildgaard.
Andrew in the chat helping me out. No Grand Slam today.
Soltero up to 4th. He's waiting for his next stop, and it is right now. And he hits his spot perfect up on the jacks. So that will allow some drivers on by that he was fighting on the racetrack with. And we'll do a reset here momentarily as everyone is done with at least their second stop. 49 of 70. Go right ahead.
Those who came in here on the back end of the second stop likely are not stopping again.
And if you're just joining us once again, this is Race First coverage sponsored by 40 Racewear of the special Friday edition of the top split of the IndyCar iRacing Series, coming to you from Detroit Belle Isle, where Christian Hilgard is your leader. Been pretty much the leader all day today. He's been lightning fast. He was the fastest, by far the fastest person on the starting grid with the pole. Only one into the 112s. And we are currently now 20 laps to go. So thanks for joining us, everybody. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. And that next race is, once again, the Open Indy 500 coming up at 9 p.m. Eastern later tonight. Myself, Ryan Eric King, Charlie Sears. Maybe you might have heard of him as the lowest rated pro driver on the service. But he has one more point in Pro Series driving than me, you, and all of us. So that makes him a much better driver by nature of that. Charlie Sears will be joining us as well. And we'll also have my counterpart from my VOR IndyCar Series coverage, David Kreutz, who is with the FTN NASCAR channel. And this will be his first IndyCar race that he'll be broadcasting with Race First, kind of with the steering wheel in hand, as Betafuhr purple lap that time by.
Hildegard is getting his home run turned into a triple. But yeah, you get that pro point because IndyCar sold the license to Motorsports Games, right? And iRacing created their fake Dallara IndyCar.
Yeah, the IRO one. It's not necessarily directly to that, but yeah, there wasn't. Charlie normally was a participant in the IIS, and he still does participate in the IIS. It's just been a while since we've seen him, but during that 23 period, where we really didn't have an official IIS, and then it was really IndyCar in Hush only. You could race on any track, but what was other on the in official races. That is, you could race on any track that was not on the existing NTT IndyCar schedule. So I believe he got into that IRO 5 series. IRO 5. This is me talking because I do too many IRO 5 races. He got into that IRO 1 series, which is like it was like their version of Super Formula 1, I think, kind of what it was. And he was like first alternate, and when they broke down into the final championship rounds or whatever, there's a whole video about it. So if you go to our link for our broadcast tonight, if you go into the description, there is a link there about the video all about Charlie. And Charlie has the best mustache in all of sim racing right there. I don't know if you've seen the video, but he has the best mustache in all of sim racing. Now, Kevin Burrell has the best handlebar mustache in all of sim racing.
You can't grow facial hair.
So yeah, check that out. Charlie Sears, great guy, and wanted to participate. I said, sure, why not? He'll be actually our strategic analyst, helping keep track of everybody on their strategies. There's Ryan Eric King. He is with a contributor at jalopnik.com and also with the Motorsport 101 podcast. We'll probably talk the latest IndyCar news during that race as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, and talking about IndyCar as well, and real life IndyCar, I know that I asked Gary, but did anyone else in the chat that's maybe watch the end of the 500 net last weekend? The real life one? That I won't spoil it, but if you haven't watched it yet, watch the end of that race, because that was epic stuff.
Yes, IRO1 GOAT Charlie Sears. That Charlie Sears, yes, that's him. And what is the best stash in racing ever? Oh, it's got to be someone from the NASCAR. It's got to be someone from the NASCAR side of things, because I don't remember really a lot of IndyCar drivers with facial hair. Mike Mosley.
That's because Roger is a tyrant and doesn't let them have facial hair.
Bobby Rahal had a good mustache. Tom Steva.
I think I'm happy to be corrected, but didn't was it last year, or I think Christian Lundgaard had one at one point.
Oh, that's right. He wouldn't shave it off until he got the win. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
What about Bottas? Valtteri Bottas. Bottas.
Well, I was thinking more of IndyCar racing. Okay, here's a trivia question for you. We mentioned his name. Who is the only driver on the Borg Warner Trophy to be sculpted with glasses?
Oh, no. That's a tough one.
That'll be your 1983 winner, Tom Steva.
Goggles. Steve.
Yeah. The 92 Jeff Gordon stash. Oh my God. That looked like he went to a costume shop and stuck a little bit of that costume hair on his upper lip. I mean, he was that young looking. It just did not look right on him. Well, these leaders are pretty well spread out. Back to the closest battle again on the racetrack. Actually, let's go back a little bit further. Hubler and Weiser. There's your close battle on the racetrack. And Hubler just digging into Weiser there in the braking zone for 3. So the Delta Force thing, yeah, Chuck Norris Classic, yes. So if you're not familiar with the Delta Force theme and why it's important to broadcasting the Indy 500, go back to a lot of the mid-'80s, late 80s into early 90s, maybe early 2000s. Paul Page, that was his choice of song that he would do his opening, as Weiser's just having a lot of issues right now with a much faster Zach Hubler behind him. And he just pulls over and gets out of the way. Probably not a bad idea, but he's still in the top 10, so good run for both these fellows. So yeah, Paul Page would have these iconic openings to ABC coverage of, or later ESPN coverage of the Indy 500. So go check them out. They're all on YouTube. And I will attempt my own Paul Page style like Delta Force intro this evening. We'll see how we do.
You're gonna do great, Gary.
I rehearsed in front of the wife earlier, and she said it was good. So I was a little fast, so I need to slow down when I talk over my script, but it seemed to hit the right beats at the right time, so I'm okay with that. And of course, I want to thank the guys at Enzo Music, who gave us permission to use their version of the Delta Force theme. Their link is in the description. Check them out. They got a lot of 80s movies, 80s TV broadcasts that they've done covers of. Airwolf, Street Hawk, Chips, Knight Rider, Beverly Hills Cop.
Bring it back to Hasselhoff.
Exactly, bring it back. We've gone full circle on Hasselhoff. There we go. And Hubler to pit road. So he is coming in only 15 laps on this stint, but he only went 16 on his last one. Can he get home from here? I think he can.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he can as well, Gary. I think he's going to be... They're in a great spot.
And Hilgard will put him a lap down, but there is your leader, Hilgard, followed very closely now by Beta Fuhrer. Beta Fuhrer is now within a second of Hilgard.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, JB going to give him a run for the money?
Yeah,
I think JB has been a little sandbagging for a while, and he's been biding his time. Let's real quick, before this race gets any closer right here, let's go through the field. Kevin Burrell is P3. He is all by himself. P4, Brandon Rosenberg, he has been there all day long, and he does have his shadow of Thorsten Ulrich right with him. Heyo Matsuda has been in the top 10 all day today, and that Scotty Dixon livery. He is P6. Will Weiser, he is surviving the P7. He gets that position back after Hubler made the pit stop. Soltero, P8. Good run for him, up 3 spots. Heikkinen up is in 9th spot, exactly where he started, but it's looking at a top 10 finish right now. Rashad Craig down 7 spots, but he's on a different strategy. We're not sure how it's going to shake out, but we'll see. He is in 10th spot. Hubler is in 11th. A name I haven't mentioned a lot today, Lucas Lodato. Lucas Lodato, he's in P12. He is up 5 spots. Ollie McGowan, haven't really talked much about him today either. He is up 5 spots to 13th. Jason Green is up 6 spots to 14th in the green car. Well, he just takes that whole green myth legend and just throws it to the wind. Like, screw it. I don't care if it's bad luck. And there is Miss Excitement, Olivia Hayward. She has moved up to 15th, 2 laps down, but keeping it clean and green. And off the wall, looking at a top 20 finish here. Etienne Desclos, they are 16th, 2 laps down right there in the red car. Oh, and in the wall! Careful! That car is behaving badly. And Soltero
Just a
is
little bit of punishment.
Soltero's right behind him, and Etienne just moves over, lets Soltero on by. I'm sure Soltero did really not want to see that. At this point, Soltero's kind of by himself in a class all by himself on the racetrack. He's really racing the racetrack at this point because he's 2 seconds up the Weiser and 17. And Etienne, I think, made contact with the turn 3 wall. Yeah, he's missing the front wing. Pally Bay in 17th. Just making laps, keeping it clean. Some people are racing the race, some people are racing the racetrack. But just like the Formula One show, it's all a drive to survive. So we're back up to this battle for the lead. Hilgard has played a little rope-a-dope with Beta Fuhrer and has lured him closer in and has now pulled away. It was 0.8 of a second when we left. It is now 1.1 second when we return back to this battle.
At these slower speeds, the cars don't punch such a big hole in the air. Honestly, the thing that matters the most is the heat that the car in front of you gives off, and how much harder you have to work your tires. I would not be surprised if JB is just kind of biding his time until he feels like there might be traffic ahead or some sort of opening to close the gap and pounce on Hilgard.
And you mentioned weather. It's a good time to bring up an update on the weather. Track temp 104, air temp 83. Hubler, purple lap 114.2.
Give him a point!
Hubler going for those Red Bull points. Kevin Burrell is just way kind of in an area code all of his own, which, you know, is really not a bad thing. You're just making laps at this point. He's got a long day ahead of him.
Yeah, it's not always, excuse me, it's not always a bad thing being by yourself, but sometimes if there's no one in front of you or no one behind you, sometimes, especially on a street circuit, sometimes you can lose your concentration.
Yes.
But on the other hand, if I'm by myself and there's no one in front or behind, I normally try and find something to keep my mind focused.
Right.
It's like checking gaps, checking fuel, checking like tires, that sort of thing. Just anything to keep my mind concentrating.
Thorsten Ulrich finally getting around Roseboro. He's only been working on that pass for about 50 laps. Sorry, I missed it. He's been on him so much. He's probably like, yes, I passed one car all day. Actually, he's passed more than that. He's up 9 spots. But a lot of that is definitely a ton of patience. And the last lap by
See a doctor?
Dr. Ulrich?
Yeah, man.
Dr.
I
Ulrich.
love making nicknames.
Please report to surgery. He just cut a 1:15.504. Roseboro 1:16.6. So yeah, considerably faster that lap. Using all of that runoff space there. Now Matsuda starting to sneak into this battle. Matsuda only at 1.4 seconds off. 10 laps to go. Today's coverage brought to you by 4D Racewear. Check out their line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in today's stream description. Check them out. Especially long races like this, you want a pair of gloves, don't you?
Go visit our friends at 4D Racewear.
Yeah, they'll hook you
Get
up.
yourself a pair.
Yeah, that's right. They'll hook you up. Different styles, different colors, 4dracewear.com. There we see Lodato on Push the Pass. Give you the Push the Pass update here since we are running into that time where we're getting to the end stages of this race and a lot of people will be mashing that button. 9 for Hilgard, 8 for JB. Burrell, the general, has 7. Thorsten, he is Winchester. He is out right now. He has used them all up trying to get around Brandon. So he finally was successful. Brandon has 5 left, so Brandon, if he wants to, could try to run him down or use those to defend against Masuda, has 6. Will Weiser has 7. Soltero has 4. Joni Heikkinen has 7 of them, and Hubler has 5. That is your top 10. Smoke them if you got them. You can't take them with you to the next race. Speaking of the next race, Road America next week. One of everyone's favorite road courses. Heck, it's even a road course I do reasonably well at.
I think it's because it's long, sweeping, and fast.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You get a lot of time.
Yeah, and it's
a lot of time to think.
Yeah, and it's 4 miles, and it's really tough to do a fuel saving strategy there. It's either 14 or 15 laps, and that's it. You really can't do a massive save and do like a 16 or 17. I guess you could if you want to do a lot of catching and coasting, but
Something that simplifies the strategy on iRacing is that there's very rarely a full course yellow, right? Only in moderated lobbies will you ever see that on a road course. So you can find 2 or 3 optimal strategies, and then you execute them depending on the traffic.
Yeah. So, for instance, the that incident you saw going into turn 3 at this on this race, absolutely 100% in real IndyCar racing would have been a full course yellow. Ooh.
However, I don't think it would have impacted the strategy at all. I don't think anyone would have pit. Maybe the cars that were involved, but...
Well, maybe someone at the end of the queue who had nothing to lose go top off the tank. Or just say they've done their stint with the Waiuli tires and they don't need them anymore.
I'm not Italian. Get these off of me.
So we're watching Ulrich as he's now kind of pulling away a little bit from Roseboro. Come back and look at Matsuda here. He's kind of closing in on Roseboro now. Roseboro's had himself a pretty, I would say, well-engaged race here. Just about every lap he's had someone on his 6. But he's been holding them off all race long. And then to think that a lot of these drivers are going to go 500 miles at Indianapolis after this, woof.
Yeah, that's going to be, a race around here and then basically 500 miles around Indianapolis. That's going to be, that's probably going to be mentally draining, having to focus for both races. Basically one race is not too long after this one.
And entirely different disciplines, entirely different lines, entirely different things to care about. Here, you're not drafting, you're not saving fuel, you're not worried about having to swap with someone or being 3 wide. It's all about hitting an apex and break points. Indianapolis is an entirely different beast.
Indianapolis as well is basically you're stuck in a pack, so there's basically other stuff that you've got to think about. You've got to think about that dirty air, and you've got to think about having to make adjustments as well during the race, playing with stuff like weight jacker or anti-roll bars, and just so much stuff going on that it can mentally drain you.
Also, full course cautions. It's not a thing here. But
Right.
There will be in the 500. I guarantee it.
There is one thing I would love to see in the iRacing Indy 500 is I know it'll probably never happen. I would love to hear Lee Diffie, Townsend Bell, and James Hinchcliffe call an iRacing 500.
They have. It happened during the pandemic. And I believe if you go to NBC, Motorsports on NBC, I think the whole race is on there. And I forget who won.
Who was it?
Was it one of the McLaren Formula One drivers?
Yeah, I think it was Lando Norris or something.
I think it was Lando. Yeah, and they were Pagano was in a fight with somebody coming down to the end. Was it Askew?
I think, was that not the race where Ferrucci and Pagano had their famous baby, how can you say, lovers tiff, if you like?
Yeah. They got in a wreck coming to the checkered flag, and that allowed Lando to win. But yeah, that was on. They did a 3 or 4 race campaign. Hubler, something happened to Hubler. He just dropped out. Hopefully he can recover. I don't know where he went. I don't know. Did he get in an accident? No, he's back. There he is. Okay. It's a bit of a lag. So yeah, there was a 4 or 5, or no, it was less than that. Maybe a 3 or 4 race series that they had on NBC. They would race at Indianapolis. Let's go back to live here. And they did a Road America, and then they did a Michigan race where Dale Jr. was in it. And he did a good job. I think he did a pretty good job on a fuel save strategy. And
yeah, I think, if I'm correct, sorry, I'll let you finish, Gary.
Yeah, and I think they went to Homestead too.
Yeah, I believe that race that Dale Jr. done, I think he finished in 5th place.
Yeah.
Or it was in the top 5 anyway, on a fuel saving strategy. And yeah, I have to say, credit to him, considering that most of his background's in NASCAR. He done a really good job.
He's one of the original drivers that came up kind of with sim racing as a bit of an aid. He kind of started sim racing about the same time I started sim racing in the mid-90s with NASCAR Racing 1, NASCAR Racing 2, IndyCar Racing 1, IndyCar Racing 2. So he's been one of the early adopters of sim racing. So to see him to kind of get behind the wheel there is no big surprise, but to see him get behind an IndyCar wheel and do pretty well there just kind of says, and of course, it was a different tire model and everything was a little bit different at the time. But I mean, you got to to finish first you must finish, right? So he did it. He brought it home on a good fuel strategy, and he had his one of his engineers that he used to work with helping him in the spot for him and everything. Did a good job. Did a real good job.
Yeah, that's what I liked about the not the pandemic, but that's what I liked about sim racing during the pandemic, especially on iRacing. That basically all the real life drivers all turned up and basically like they were all racing like together on the same track, not in the real world, but virtually.
Yeah.
But still, they were all together in the same race, and I think with that, with so many real life drivers taken to the sim racing during the pandemic, I think it's definitely helped iRacing and iRacing especially start getting bigger, and it's just made it boom.
Yeah, and I remember watching that, and I was telling my wife, I was like, yeah, I used to do that. Remember, I used to do that in IndyCar Racing 1 and 2, and they were offline leagues. And I went. That's what got me to get a wheel and to get back into this thing, to get a new computer, all the the whole 9 yards. Actually, now I don't drive anymore. I just broadcast, which probably tells me I'm marginally a better talker than I am driver. But
yeah, that's why I don't race as much now, because I'm not as quick as I used to be. I probably don't speak that. I don't speak as well as in the commentary booth either, but that's probably the story of my life. But but yeah, that's the thing as well. It's basically as well. I think I remember Dale Jr. mentioning on his podcast the Dale Jr. download. Check it out, by the way, if you've never listened to it. I remember having Martin Truex Jr. Talking about they used to play NASCAR Heat 2003, I think, and they went out and bought a bunch of computers and actually done some league racing, I think, which was super cool.
White flag in the air, final lap here from Detroit. Christian Hillgard trying to put 160, what are we doing today for mileage? 164 and a half in the books. Yeah, 164 and a half in the books before hopping the virtual jet to fly about 5 hours south of here to Indianapolis to get into one of his splits tonight at 9 o'clock for the Indy 500. Coming through the final kind of carousel complex here before doubling back onto what turns into the front straight here along the aisle here in Belle Isle, along the waterfront. Final set of corners in front of you here. Christian Hilgard looking for a big gain and gets the win here in the IIS. And another win because he won the first race on Wednesday. So 2 in a row for Christian here in the Satellite Racing team at Detroit.
Give him a proper thrashing. No chance.
Christian laying down some rubber there in the turn 3 area. It's donut time. All right, let's get into the final standings here. And we'll get into the interview room. All right, results are in. Christian Hilgard, and no Triple Crown. But he didn't have the fast lap anyways. That belonged to Hubler, who set that a little bit later in the race with a 1:14.242. But he led 68 laps on a 2-stopper. Christian Hilgard, your winner. Beta Fear, JB there, led those 2 extra laps on the overlap, excuse me, of the pit strategies. And he finishes second there, exactly where he started, and on a 2-stopper as well. Kevin Burrell improved 2 spots to get to the third and bottom step of the podium. He also completed a 2-stopper, led nothing, but gets some good points out of it in the championship. Thorsten Ulrich, best finish on the top split broadcast this season, a P4 for him. Brandon Rosenborough, a top finish for him on the top split as well. P5, Mitsuda, another top 10 for Hayato. Will Weiser, good, very solid top 10. And 7 improved spots for Will, up to P7. Oscar Soltero, in his first appearance here on the top split, finishes 8th. Hubler, 9th. And Joni Heikkinen, Heikkinen, excuse me. That is not a Freudian slip. I don't even drink beer anymore. I shouldn't be calling him Heineken. Heikkinen, P10. Hopefully I'm saying that right. He does a 3-stopper and comes home 10th. Wow. Moving on, Rashad Craig moves up to 11th on his strategy, but loses 8 spots. So tried something different. Didn't pan out for him. Lodato up 5 spots, finishes 12th. McGowan up 5 spots, finishes 13th. Green up 6, finishes 14th. Olivia Hayward misses excitement as she is up 10 to 15th. Pally Bay up 8 to 16th. Lake Toby is 17th. NTN Disclo is 18th. Michael Bott 19th. Pascal Sticks with connection issues, unfortunately, coming in 20th. And rounding out the remainder of this 25-car field, Moraine 21st, Gardner 22nd, Fillion 23rd, Brito 24th, and Anders Sandberg. A lot of these last 3 here in that first turn 3 incident ended days early. 23rd, 24th, and 25th, Fillion, Brito, and Sandberg. And as you see, no cautions for no caution laps. Yeah, we're on a road course. But average lap time was a 75.132. All right, let's see who might be in the interview room here. Everybody's there. And I see Kevin being muted, but we'll bring him up first. We'll see if he's available. Kevin Burrell, the general, in the house. Congratulations, P3. A very I'd say toward the end of the race, you were kind of just racing out there by yourself. So how do you stay focused during those times?
That's a good question. I actually, this time, I did my 2:23 lapper stints early in the race, and the final stint was the 24. So I was basically just trying to hit a number. So that helped a little. I wasn't really pushing it to the absolute edge of the track or anything. But I mean, you're right. It's hard at times here, and you can't really lose your focus here for fear of just sudden death. I mean, all it takes is literally one brake lock up at all into like two specific corners, like T3 or the corner at the end of the back straight, and you're just dead. You're in the wall. So I'm glad that did not happen, but yeah, I mean, what can I say?
So 164 and a half done. Another 500 to go today.
Yeah, I wish. Unfortunately, there will be no 500ing for me this weekend in either fixed or open. Sadly.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I say sadly, but look, I'm glad that we have the race. I'm glad that it's a thing. I'm glad that it's back in iRacing, but I've never felt that strong at Indy Oval. Even if fixed or open, doesn't really matter. I've always felt like I really struggle to pass people cleanly here, at least since the days of the crazy outside setup pass. That
Right.
Back then in the old scan, I felt pretty confident with that. It's actually where a lot of my oval iRating comes from, is just abusing that combo. But nowadays, it's I don't know. I mean, it's a skill issue on my part, as the kids are saying. But I could not. Had a hard time making it work, and I'm sure you saw Jesper's like fighting for his life at the back of open qual. So
Yeah.
we banked on step 3 this year, and these were not step 3 conditions. So we found ourselves scrambling, and did not scramble correctly, I guess. But
Hey,
I mean, it goes on, and
But I mean, you got today. I mean, you got the third here in the IIS championship. It's going to help you. You're in the top 3 there in the championship. It's going to help you keep pace.
Absolutely.
And the guys ahead of you, for the most part, at least when it comes to Kraus, did not show up today because they're practicing. They'll probably use it as a drop, but I mean, this will obviously tighten things up here eventually when the math is all said and done with.
Yeah, make no mistake. I mean, I was glad I got the win on the first slot of this week, but it was, 3,600 SOF. So, I mean, that's not really going to do a whole lot. That's almost already in drop territory for me.
That's right. You
so
did get the win earlier
today.
I gave Christian credit for the win earlier this week. That's right. You did. My mistake.
I know it's easy to assume. I actually. I was just happy, once I saw that I was starting in like P5 and fell to P6 today, I was like, oh man, like I know in the long run pace here, maybe I can go for P3, maybe even P2, but I'll be damned if I can get past 3 people on track here. And one DC'd, another I made the send of my life on cold tires on alts twice in a row, and then that was just that's all she wrote, so I'm happy it worked out, but that was definitely stressful. I'm glad I salvaged the P3, and John getting P2 and Christian P1. They're fast, and both of them missing an oval week. They really need this in their results. So that's good. It's gonna be exciting for the rest of the season, I think.
Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors, teammates. Go right ahead.
Yeah, of course, to the IAR guys, and also, especially in this case, Christian helped me way back when we were working on this set, in the distant past times. We talked a lot about this set too. He helped me a lot with driver feedback on that, and you can clearly tell that he knows his stuff. So he helped me out a lot here, and teammates or not now, it wouldn't have been possible without that, Right. Obviously, Sam is doing the same now, and he helped me this time around as well. But, having a strong base to start from, it's always good. So I'm glad, we had a good race, and there was no crazy beef. It was all fun.
Yeah, so properly put, Kevin and Christian all tied up now going into the third race. So one apiece for the weekend. Congrats, man. If you do make Indy, best of luck. If not, we will see you next week, if all goes well, at Road America.
Cool. Catch you around.
Yeah. All right, let's bring up John here. JB, welcome to the booth. Congratulations on the P2. Did you have anything for Christian? We saw you kind of close the gap there towards the end, and then he seemed to just pull away. I don't know if he was playing with you or not or whatever, but did you have anything for him at all, or just one of these days where you're just kind of best in class for second?
Yeah, did not really have anything for Christian. I was happy to finish within 5 seconds. So, maybe if I could, I had a few bad laps, kind of in my last few laps on the primes. If I had it within 3 or 4 seconds, maybe I could have got by him or at least fought him a little bit. But chances are he would have got me back anyway. So, yep, second place, kind of where I expected to be. So,
is this it for the weekend for you, or are you going to go on to Indy here next?
No, I'm done. I'll watch the races.
So the towel has been thrown in. Well, other than that, the rest of your race, you're pretty much not a lot of battles that got really near you as all. Both of you kind of just broke away. What is it that you do that helps keep you focused when you reach those portions of the race when there's really no one around you and it's just you racing the racetrack?
Yeah, trying to just run consistent laps. I used the last lap optimal to sort of just keep my rhythm and try not to slide the tires too much, which apparently I'm not good at because my left front's fried. So, and then on that last stint, I was just trying to stay as close to Christian as I could to maybe just put that little extra bit of pressure on him to maybe where he takes a mistake, hits the wall or something. You never know. So I had hope just to kind of keep pressure on, but he's very steady on the wheel. So as expected, he pulled away at the end.
Well, congratulations, nevertheless. Even if it's best in class, a P2 is pretty strong today with the even with the not some of the regulars showing up. We had a pretty good strikes to field number. So it's going to help you in the standings and the points here. So I'm sure that's going to be welcome at the end of such a long race. And then we're off to a more, I think, driver-friendly track next week at Road America. So that should make you a little bit happier as well. So any shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors, teammates you want to say hi to? There were 3 teammates of yours in the race today. They all did at least half of them did reasonably well.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone at Geodesic. Brandon and Brody for running the race as well. Brandon didn't have a lot of practice, so struggled a little bit, but toughed it out and made it through. And then just want to thank Hydra Race and GSI.
Best wheels in the business, I'll admit it. Well, congratulations, and we'll catch you next week at Road America.
All right, thanks, Gary.
All right, and did Clindy and Justin move down to the other channel? Did I move them down there? I hope not. Let me bring up Christian Hilgard here. Ryan's, I guess we'll do this again since he's your teammate. Why don't you go ahead and give the interview to Christian here. Christian, dominant win, my friend. 68 of the 70 laps were all yours. Not quite the Grand Slam, but you got the pole, you got the win, and that's halfway there. And then you at least led the most laps, and the purple lap went to somebody else.
Yeah, I think getting the Grand Slam here was always going to be difficult, and to be fair, it doesn't matter. You don't get an extra point for Grand Slam in the championship standing. So, I'm honestly, first of all, just happy to have kept it out of the wall here. I've been doing a lot of left turning this week. Let's put it that way.
I've heard.
So I turned up here with very little practice. I'd done a lot of qual runs, and I think maybe 5 laps of race runs. So it was, I was learning as I went, and knowing that qualifying is the most important part here. I was pretty confident I could get the win after getting that pole position. And yeah, sure enough, not a lot of pressure on. Really, the most dangerous part of the race was the few times where I almost put it in the wall myself, and just about managed to keep it out and get the W. So yeah, happy with it.
Ryan, anything else for your teammate?
Yeah, obviously with the 500 day taking place this week, was there a, how did you think, or how did you find jumping the back and forth, switching from from an oval to the road course at Detroit? Did it take long to readjust, or was it second nature?
It's second nature for me. I love this track, first of all. So I've done a lot of laps here in the past. I say I haven't done a lot of prep for this race in particular, but I have enough laps here that I can pretty much jump in and be on the pace right away. It's a different story going back to the oval. I feel like every time, first of all, I'm having massive skill issues on the oval. Like I have teammates obviously who are very talented on ovals, and we have a decent setup, so there's no way to hide, and I'm just not there. So ovals are a struggle. Going back to the road course is just, it feels good turning right. Let's put it that way.
And then look into the 500 as I was talking about. How much preparation, how much time have you put in for it? Obviously, there's when you look at some of the the top guns and top teams that run IndyCar all the time, especially on ovals, they've been putting in loads and loads of practice. Can you give us a rough idea of how much time you've been spending?
Not enough, clearly. Like I said, I'm having skill issues. It didn't help that I was away for 2 days this week, and I couldn't do any runs there. And honestly, there's maybe a bit of a road racer arrogance in me that's like, oh, it's an oval, it's going to be easy. And then I turn up and it's not easy. And now it's, like 2-3 hours to go before qual ends. And I think I'm P37 or something in the standing. So I need to go find some time here on the next few runs. I haven't spent enough time prepping, but my team definitely has. Big shout outs to especially Chad Simpson and Adam McCrane, who've been working on setups, but also Alex Russell. They've been putting in a ton of time, and like I said, I've not been putting in enough.
And then last question, what's your expectations for the 500 this weekend? Is it just see what happens, or do you have any expectations?
No expectations at all. Honestly, for me right now, it's the case of if I can make it into top split, I'll run, and if I can't, I'll just try to help the other guys where I can on the pit wall, essentially. So, and if I do make it into top split, I'll be happy to finish on the lead lap. Let's put it that way.
Have you ever done a 500 before? An Indy 500 fixed or open?
No.
You should do it. Regardless of where you qualify, you should do at least one. Put one under your belt and then check it off the list. Because just go ahead and get it over with. See how it is. I mean, I'm an oval guy, and even I have a Daytona 24 under my belt. So if I could do it, you can do it. So I tell you what, we're gonna let you go, but you've already put in 164.5 miles of a possible 664.5 to go, or total today. So we hope to see you in the 500. If not, and maybe one of the later splits, we'll see. But best of luck there. We'll let you get back to running with your teammates to kind of get those quality times down. But I know we will see you next week at Road America.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Gary.
No problem. Before we let you go, though, I'd be remorse to say I haven't let you done any shout-outs. So shout-outs, friend, family, sponsors, teammates, go right ahead.
It's a good thing you can remind me. I was so ready to turn left again here. Like I said, big shout-out to my teammates, the boys back at the factory working out on the setup. They've been doing an incredible job on that. And also a big shout-out to the sponsors. We got Dr. Dabber, we got Nemesis Lab, Ellis Engineering, and Muradness.
There you have it. We'll catch you next week. Good luck.
Thank you.
And there he goes. All right. We now have Justin Petschauer in the booth. Justin, how do we do?
Well, let's see. Started 12th. It would have been a quicker lap, but let's just say I got kicked in the nuts on my money lap because the session immediately switched over.
Oh, okay.
And the old saying goes, if there's names in there you don't recognize, start from the pits.
Yeah.
Smartest thing.
Yeah, and I think Clindy's. I think Clindy's already taken off. He's gone back to Indy to do some qualifying. Yeah. But how you set to do anything with Indy here? Are you good to go, or we're just done?
We're pretty much. I've already thrown down my 4-lap average for Indy. I know I can't do any better. But back to Detroit real quick. Lap 1, turn 1 was the chaos. Smartest thing I did was start from the pits. And then second place got a little greedy halfway through the run, aka patience was not his virtue, because I was going to let him go past going down the straightaway at the exit of turn 2. So he runs into the back of me, and it's just like, are you kidding me, dude? I was going to let you bide out of turn 2. And then right as soon as he gets to turn 3, he bends it, and it's just like, well, that's what happens, dude. Patience when you don't have patience.
Right.
But overall, we finished 8th in third split. Car number 2. Usually you figure you would lose iRating. No, I gained 23 iRating.
Nice. Good payday. Good payday. Ryan.
Also,
go right ahead.
Also, I got a text message from a buddy of mine that's at the Xfinity race at Portland Raceway. There was a huge spoiler that was dropped over the PA.
Is somebody scanning the place?
Some company may have scanned said track.
Thank God.
Like I said, right now, just keep your fingers crossed that it actually did happen.
Thank God. There has not been. I have not raced on Portland since IndyCar Racing 2.
Well, you got me beat because the last time I ran on Portland was R Factor 1. That was in the Kart 98 mod.
All right. Ryan, final thoughts before we get on out of here.
I mean, considering that the 500 is taking place this weekend, it was still a good turnout. There was still great racing throughout the field, and I think Christian Hildegard, what can you say? That was pretty much a command and drive.
Mm-hmm.
He was under some slight pressure from JB towards the end, but just managed to eke that gap back out towards the end and held on to take the win. And it wasn't a triple crown, if you like, but it was pretty much a command and drive from start to finish.
Yeah, good race. And now it's time to move the focus to Indianapolis, where thousands of drivers are putting in laps to try their best to make the top split, and then maybe not make the top split, but to do the best they can and try to come away with a win there in their split of the Indy 500. So we'll move on to that next. That's it for this race, but not it for today. Once again, your podium from Detroit is Christian Hildegard, your winner. He has won one of the races this weekend. I gave credit to him for the other one. It belongs to Kevin Burrell. Burrell won the earlier one on Wednesday night. John Betafuhr finished second. JB there. He's not going to go on to Indy. He is done for the day. Kevin Burrell finished third. He's also done for the day. So it all tells you kind of how hard Indianapolis is, and then on top of that, how kind of rough this racetrack is to these guys. Join Antonio, Ryan, and myself again next Saturday, June 8th, for round 8 of the IndyCar iRacing Series, as the drivers and teams head to one of the most favorite road courses on all the schedule for everybody, Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Coverage should begin approximately 2 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Again, that's 2 p.m. Eastern. As always, check our channel on youtube.com/racefirst, or check the official iRacing schedule for the correct time in your area. We're moving that back to the Saturday slot. So again, this is a special Friday. We're moving back to Saturday for the rest of the season, I believe, and that will be picking back up here next week with Road America. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but they're not easy and require time and money to produce. If you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and enjoyed our coverage of the IndyCar iRacing Series, please take time to visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our 2024 broadcast fund. We realize times are tough, so any contribution will be greatly appreciated, and we thank you for making us a part of your Fridays or Saturdays during NTT IndyCar race weeks. Now, as you know, YouTube algorithm game's not easy, so please help support Race First with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of tonight's race or today's race. And to all those that participated in chat, thank you so much. We really appreciate your interaction. It's always good talking to you guys in chat when you're paying attention. We appreciate your time and energy. And if you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more of other Race First, other iRacing programming, including, for the billionth time, we'll say it one more time, 9 p.m. tonight, Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, the Open Indy 500 top split, first time slot 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be here on Race First. Check it out. We hope to see all of you back again for that. Race First Saturday, IndyCar as the series top split coverage brought to you by, and today's special Friday coverage, 4D Racewear. Check out their made-for-sim racing line of gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in today's description. Track cams for this race are provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with Whiplash Sim Cams. Learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook, or follow them on Twitter. The links are in the description. For business inquiries or learn more about Race First and what we do, visit raceverse.com or follow us all on Twitter. That's what you see in front of you right now on the screen. That's all of our Twitter handles. Feel free to follow us. You can follow all of us right there on your screen. So for El Patron, Antonio Estrada, who is not joining us this week because he's out qualifying, we got Ryan Walker, we have Clindy, we have Justin Petshire, and everybody else from Race First. I'm Gary Gotcha saying all. Thanks for watching, and to our men and women serving them in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come on safe. Make sure to catch the real stars and cars of the NTT IndyCar Series this Sunday for the Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix. Follow all the action on Peacock, on the Peacock app, or it's going to be on USA if you're going to watch on TV. So make sure USA on cable, or join Mark Janes and the gang on the IndyCar Radio on Sirius XM channel 215 for all the action. Be sure to check out your local listings for the correct broadcast times and availability in your area. So be sure to catch us again June 8th at Road America for the next race of the the IndyCar iRacing Series. We'll see you all in Indianapolis Center tonight. Good night.